Well, it's the season finale of One Step Beyond Cyber. We're closing out the season with a big conversation: how small and mid-sized businesses can unlock AI the right way. Now, our guest, Christopher Carter, is a globally recognized AI cloud expert, best-selling author, and founder of Approyo. Together, we're going to dive into why clean data matters, how private AI is becoming accessible to all, and what every leader needs to know about securing their business in the AI era. Okay, so let's jump in and welcome our guest, Chris. Welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I'm well, Scott. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Looking forward to this. Such a hot topic. So listen, before we get too deep into our fun conversations, could you share with our audience a little bit about who you are, what drives your passion for helping small and medium-sized businesses with technology?
Yeah, my name is Chris Carter, and I live in mid-size companies my entire life. I started by going to school at Georgia Tech and starting and working in companies that are the SMBs. We are the bread and butter. My father had a company in Port Washington, Wisconsin. That was a 100-person company. And so I've lived this in my entire life, and it's the reason I've written my books. It's the reason I go out and speak. It's the reason that I talk about the activities that I talk about. You and I were just talking, this is my 55th podcast, and it's the reason why I want to share with people in the SMB and the mid-market space, because there's so much that we need as those individuals that everybody caters to those big boys up above, but we're really the bread and butter of American business.
Yeah, you're right. People don't understand running a mid-sized business as hard, or not, if not harder than the bigger people. Different problems, of course. Normally, it's a resource issue, right? But resource, experience, knowledge, that sort of thing. But so you just talked about books, right? You've written, am I correct if I say 17 books?
17 different books. There's some of them up there, and I've 17 different titles, most of them in technology or something whereabouts. And again, something easy for the individuals in the SMB and the mid-market to be able to read. It's 100 pages, 120 pages, maybe 125 at max, in something I can read on an airplane. I can read, my wife jokes, she can read one of my books driving from wherever we're at to wherever we're going, or listen to them on audio.
Yeah, that's perfect. And are they written where, we don't have to look up 50 words or something like that?
All right. Exactly. It's, I wrote them. It's funny you make that comment. Before my mother passed away, she made a joke. She goes, geez, I don't know if I understand the technology. And it made me think, after my first book, I'm going to make this so my mother can understand it and my father can understand it. And they were both in their 70s, still my father alive. But it's something that anybody can understand. It's not for these super smart technologists and people. It's for all of us who need to just know the information and gather the information and get it like that to be able to make helpful decisions.
That's awesome. So look, 17 books. Can you maybe distill maybe a theme or two, some insights from those books that you feel are most urgent for business leaders to understand in today's world?
Oh, in today's world, you've got, I would say, two items that I talk the most about. One is about artificial intelligence, AI. And the other is
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's kind of a newer thing. People are trying to figure it out.
It's probably going to be a fad. Is it going to be a fad? It's probably going to...
I don't know. It's sure feeling like it these days. Something new is out on CNBC every day that I'm there. It's crazy. And then I talk about SAP software, since I've lived my life in the cloud, AI, and SAP. Those are the most of where I try to give a little bit of knowledge, try to help open up some eyeballs, and to not necessarily push them in a direction, but help guide them. And they can make a decision. They can take some forks in the roads and make the decisions that are best for their organizations, and just give them some help.
Excellent. So I did look at, a couple of these titles, and in particular, I think our audience, just like everybody, is super interested in AI. We all know we can ask it a question and it'll answer it. But that's not even scratching the surface. But
No.
like, let's talk about deploying AI from your perspective for the SMB. Why don't you maybe just dive into that a little bit, and we'll just see where we go.
Sure. Jump right into it. First thing, when I talk to companies in the SMB market or the mid market, I talk to them. You don't want your competitors' data. You don't want the world's data. You don't want AI to hallucinate about them rather than you and your organization. So what I talk to them about is, let's clean up your data first and foremost. If you're an SMB customer, you probably got a terabyte of data. You definitely do not have petabytes of data unless you're really been in business a long time. You've got a lot of technology, and maybe you're buying and acquiring organizations. Two, what we talk to them a lot about is, what do you want to learn? What do you want to do? Do you want to do this where it's working with your finance and your HR teams, sales and marketing? Is it something that you're going to have some of your coders or developers you're going to be working in? What is the strategy that you want to start your first use case on? Because I make a recommendation, do not boil the ocean. Let's start with a use case with clean data in whatever that format's going to be. And then let's figure out the tool that you're going to use. Because I'll be very honest, the tool that you use for sales and marketing is completely different than the tool you're going to use for your developers and coders and IT team. And that's going to be different than the tools you're going to use for your finance team or your HR team, and how you're going to develop activities wrapped around that. So you got to be very smart and very strategic on how you're going to data, solution, and use case.
Excellent. Yeah. And I'd like to dive into clean data in just a minute, but how about security? And maybe we can talk about security from the perspective of both using, the public type of AI that's available that we all are very familiar with the ChatGPTs, the Groks, or, the Claudes, or the whatever, right? So as well as maybe, and we'll dive into the private one deeper, but maybe you can share some insight on security issues.
Certainly. So security is a major issue for any organization running any type of AI tool, because you do not want competitors' data. You don't want outside data. And if you start to bring in that data through the APIs and the ports by using a general available ChatGPT 5 or Perplexity or Snowflake or whatever the tools, rather than on your own data, that's when you allow the open ports and the APIs and the different security ramifications that you may get from that. I fully tell organizations all the time, use your data. Keep it in that little box. That box is your data. I don't want anybody else's information getting in and out, and I don't want somebody to be able to hack in and out of my data schema. Okay. So with that, it's so important, so very important. Layers of security over the technology. Make sure that nobody can get in or get out. You don't want your staff going out to the outside world and trying to find answers to solutions that they shouldn't be doing, because that opens up security vulnerabilities, and it's a bi-directional. It's not just bad actors trying to come in on you. It's your people illegally going out into the ecosystem to try to find answers that aren't your answers.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So using the publicly available AI to solve your business's issues. When you talk about, security issues, are you talking about like uploading your information into those models, and then because you've done that and the agreement you've clicked through, they now own that, right? Just like Facebook, anytime you upload a picture, they own that. They own the rights to that picture. So is it similar? Is that similar to in AI?
Because when I'll give an example, your customer service team all of a sudden uploads all their knowledge repository into a ChatGPT 5 or whatever the tool is. You put that information in there, whoever you uploaded it to, they now get to keep that information, own that information, and use that information anytime somebody asks a question that it may pertain to. So now you've lost control of that. What we say is, put it again in your black box. That's yours. Use your tool. Put it inside your enterprise solution, not your general availability solution. So then this way you can make decisions based upon your information. So customer service team, it's inside their database. They're using, and I keep using ChatGPT 5 because it's so much easier to just say that. But whatever the tool is, it's inside your walls. It is secured within your boundaries. And that data will now help with tier 1 or tier 2 answers. And it's based upon the knowledge that you've gained over the years that you've been able to upload, and it's been able to learn. And it will continue to learn as you put more and more of that data into it. And that's what you want. You don't want your neighbor's data inside their systems, and how they design their systems and how they do customer support are probably a million times different than what yours is. Why would you want theirs if you're not going to make the right decisions?
So if you are going to use the the publicly available AIs, there probably is a use case for it, right? So if you're doing market research or
exactly. Sales and marketing, you're doing the Instagram stuff, you're doing landing pages, that sales and marketing stuff, oh, it's fantastic for that. You're writing, maybe you're going out to Gamma and you're going to put together a presentation. Use your knowledge information, but allow Gamma to also learn from you to make some presentations if you're going out to a public speaking event. And I use that all the time. I throw a ton of our information in there and it helps. Use the general availability AI for different, what if scenarios. I'm looking at doing this activity. What does the general public, what are they looking for? How are they trying to gauge? Get a customer persona, build a customer persona about your organization, and then let sales and marketing run with those activities. They can clean it. And that's why you always must have a human interaction at the end. Make sure a human is truly reviewing the information, because if it's hallucinating or doing any of the activities that shouldn't be, you at least have somebody that's there at the end point saying, this right here, I'm going to X that out and take it away. But I like what else I can do. I can now have PDFs. I can have websites, landing pages, tweets, text, Instas, whatever. Make you Insta famous.
Yeah, so I think you're right, and at least today, when we use AI to help us with processes, let's say we don't have internally, so we're going to the public to see what best practices are out there, and AI is great for that, and it offers like great documentation, but it's still not written in a way like your books, probably, easy to digest. It's almost too sterile, right? And so I can always tell when I have an employee who, works with, Grok or whatever and submits it as a ready to go solution. I'm like, nah, this ain't ready, so you need to go through this and almost make it your own.
Yes. And there are, it's interesting you make that comment about employees. We've got prompts that we use from a sales and marketing standpoint for the organization, for Instagram and all these different pieces. But as part of that, we even have to bring it down several levels, because we find that our internal systems get too technical because it knows all of our technology and how, so we have to bring it down, and then our prompting system actually brings it down even further, so it's not so technical. And most individuals out there don't understand how to use the prompting in order to make sure that they're getting what they need when they need it, and in that manner, not as technical or as sterile as it could be.
Yeah, it's excellent. Yeah, it's an excellent point. All right, so let's go down one layer and go. So how would an SMB start? So let's say they they're everybody's sort of used to the chat GPTs of the world and saying, hey, I'm going on a field trip, and where should I stop along the way, and all that nonsense. It's great for that, right? Or I do some market research and whatnot. But how do we start the process of making, as you call it, our own black box? Could you walk us through at a high level on that?
Absolutely. One of the things you need to do is you need to understand what is going to be your use case. So let's just say you're going to have your own data. You've already cleaned it, and now you've got it in your own knowledge repository or your own data schema. So your own server. I am a huge fan of small language models, SLMs, instead of large language models. Large language models, in my opinion, This is my opinion. And remember, as the old saying goes, everybody's got a but. Somebody's got one's bigger than others. Well, this is my but. SLMs are for getting granular into individual organizations' data, especially us SMBs. We don't have petabytes of data that we need to worry about LLMs. But I like to get granular on my numbers, especially when it comes to my finance, my HR, my teams, and activities wrapped around it. So if I've got a database and I continuously keep that updated, I can have x86 systems running in the back room that are specific on my network, nobody else's network, that I can start running my small language models into it, and I can get very granular very quickly. Now, Scott, I'm going to ask a question. Would you rather have something that comes back to you in 10 milliseconds or in 6 milliseconds?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And that's where we're going, because I'll be honest, I love NVIDIA. It's a great company. I don't own any stocks, so this isn't a thing about buying stocks and shares. But when I can use any of the Intel or the AMD processing-based systems in my back room, and I still get answers in 10 seconds or 10 milliseconds or less, why not? And then if I can get more granular, it's inexpensive for us as the SMB market. We're using our data, which is more important, and we're getting it in a time frame that's still conducive to us to be able to make decisions on. And I can run that into my databases. I can literally ask it into a database, put together my database, and have my columns and graphs and all the pretty, and I can get that to my desktop every single morning as I so choose. So it's little things like that that does not cost us a lot of money. It's part of our budget on a yearly basis. It's something that our development teams can do on a daily basis. It doesn't take a lot of time to learn these types of things. Shoot, I learned that in a week. It's not that hard. Heck, I even use some of the external chat. I've got a chat hub system, and I started doing things with some of my technical team, but we've got some great data folks that we work with on our team. But it's efficient, it's effective, and it's there for us as an SMB. And I'm surprised that more and more of the enterprise companies aren't doing that themselves.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now, is it cost effective or secure enough if you wanted to do this sort of thing on an Azure or something like that instead of a physical server? Would that be okay still in as far as your own black box? If you just prefer to have it up in the cloud, If
you prefer to have it there, we've got systems up there and it's locked down, it's secured. Microsoft and AWS, GCP, others, they've got really good secured portals that you can use in regards to their data systems. And all we do is we send the data up in an API feed, and any changes we make, we send up to that system, and it gets locked into that system as well. Nobody has the keys except for us from an encryption standpoint, so nobody can break into it. And the only way that it's going to go down is if the Amazon East, the Azure East is going to go down as it did this week.
Yeah, so it happens, but it's like electricity going down. It's rare, but
it happens. It happens.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, so this is great. And then, as it relates to clean data, is clean data basically your data, or do you have to do something like scrub your data before you put it into your black box, so to speak?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
You have to scrub your data. There is no company that we've worked with over the last many years that didn't have some type of yuck in their databases. From companies that have acquired multiple companies over the years, and they've got that information that is the same part number 16 times in their system. There's a manufacturer in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that we've had to deal with, and they literally bought all these companies in the same product, literally had 16 different part numbers because each one of the companies that they acquired had the same part, different part number. So you got to clean that kind of stuff up, and it shrinks your database. You make sure that you don't have things that you don't need in there that aren't going to make sense for your organization. So clean your data and do a data assessment project. Then from that point, then it's your data. And once it's your data, then you've got the ability to be able to have secured, clean data.
And is one of your books set up to help walk somebody through these steps?
Yes. And actually it's that red one right there.
Okay, good. So we'll get that a URL to the folks that want to buy that, because that's probably really good. Because you're making it sound so, I wouldn't say easy, but pretty straightforward. And
Straightforward.
yeah,
Straight.
if somebody has, any decent technology resource internally, they probably be able to figure this out.
They do. And it's funny, you get these individuals who say, oh, I'm not going to touch that. That's way beyond me. And all of a sudden they start reading the book, or they start talking with our team and start like, oh, I can do that. That's easy. Let me work with you. And literally they just, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can do this. We should have been doing this. Why haven't we been doing this? And it's one of those items where it just, the light bulb clicks on and away they
go. Yeah. Well, great. So SMB, when I work with SMBs, I tend to hear them talk about IT as sort of a cost center, right? From your experience, like how are these smarter technology shifts like predictive AI, or how are they directly fueling business growth, and any sort of real world examples that you might be able to share?
So it's interesting because the ROI is tough on any of these business transformations from an AI-based perspective. And the reason they're so difficult is most companies don't understand to start small and to gravitate. And I'll be honest, we've come in and companies have literally tried to boil the ocean, and they're not getting anywhere with it. They don't understand. They still haven't cleaned their data. They still haven't put together one single solitary use case. We walked into one organization, they had 6 different tools that they were going to use. Like, you don't even know what use case you're doing yet. Why? If you're going to do technology, none of these 6 are going to work from a coding perspective for you. What have you? And it was some consultant that they brought in because somebody knew somebody that was a cousin of somebody's brother. And it's like, guys, okay, let's bring this back down to base zero. What do you want to learn? How do you want to learn it? Now let's talk about what we're going to do with your data to be able to make sure it's clean and it can be used properly. And then literally at the end of the day, what is the tool you're going to use? Of those 6 that you've already paid for and you've tried to go out into the interwebs and tried to pick the best one for whatever your consultant said. It's those things like that really, they just, I get so frustrated because people want to dive in, but they don't follow the proper steps and procedures on those activities. And I'm going to take off the glasses because this is important. I'm going to poke at people right in their chest with my glasses. Do it in a unified, concise, clean manner. We are the SMB people of the world. It takes a lot of money out of our pockets as mid-market and SMB companies that we could be using in other parts of our organizations if we start to just throw things out there willy-nilly without a plan. I'm all about plans and procedures. If you're not going to plan and you're not going to put procedures in place for this, you might as well just take that checkbook or those $100 bills and just start throwing them everywhere.
Light your cigars.
Yeah, there, exactly. Light your $100 bill cigars and just throw it away. Plan and procedures.
So you mentioned like start small, right? And I love that idea, right? And so from your experience, is there any sort of common small project that you've noticed? I mean, everybody's different. I get it. But have you seen one a number of times? And could you share that with us?
Sure. There's actually 3 different ones that I'll share, and they'll be very quick. One is a sales and marketing one. What do you want your salespeople to be able to do with your BDRs, with your marketing team, having them work together on a same common message, using the same tools with your company's information and data to be able to make sales and to be able to bring individuals into your organization who want to make those buying decisions based upon the information that you have. That's a really nice, clean, easy one, and you can work on it. 2 is your developers, your internal technical team members. Technical team members have to write a lot of code, and they have to fix different SQL queries, and they have to run different databases, and they have to run activities. There's tools that are available to help them be able to find the errors and to be able to understand as part of a customer service team. And I made reference to that customer support mechanism earlier with the knowledge repository. Clean, quick, easy win for the organization. And then you've got, at the end of the day, I'm a huge proponent of the finance and HR team cleaning up some of those activities. We're in the mid-market. We are trying to track all of our HR. We're trying to track our employees, who can take off when, how they can take off. Have they earned enough time off yet for their good? There's ways that you can do that integrates your finance and your HR just for simple vacation times. It's so easy. There's a great easy template that we use in regards to that. And those are literally 4 basic wins that are fantastic right there for anybody to be able to utilize. And it doesn't take a lot of time to get the data from the clean database, because now remember we've cleaned that database, or to set that up for them to be able to use. And we can use the cloud, we can use basic tools, but it's all about getting the procedure in place that you want based on that template for you to be able to succeed at a very efficient timeline and a cost efficiencies as well.
Yeah, those are great. I mean, we would love to do those. So yeah, we'll definitely, I think we'll definitely spend some time learning that. So, all right, well, cool. Yeah. And so now let's dive a little bit deeper into some security or vulnerabilities again. So I know you work with many different businesses. Are there any sort of surprising routine vulnerabilities or blind spots maybe that you've uncovered and you go, yep, here it is again? And it can be relating to AI or cybersecurity. I don't really care. But like, since you talk to so many mid-sized businesses, could you almost predict it?
Yes, especially in the SMB space. You get companies that willy-nilly, they just open up user IDs, passwords. They forget to close user IDs and passwords when people leave the company or when they let people go. Oh, somebody will take care of that. Or somebody, okay, you do realize you have multiple licenses that are still out there of people that have left 6 years ago. There's all these touch points that go in every single day. And sometimes it falls upon us. Sometimes we're one man, one woman show, and we have to do the tech, we have to do the HR, we have to do the security, we have to do the finance, and maybe we've got about 10 people in the warehouse, and then all of a sudden you find out that some of the technology that you have hasn't been upgraded or updated as part of the security. They've got a lot of patches that come out. I look at these tools all over the place, and these tools, they've got to be constantly updated. And if you've got one IT person that's trying to update your barcode scanners, your Wi-Fi's, your routers, your systems, and they're behind schedule, oy vey, Scott, I'm telling you, I literally, one of my guys, Sean, he went over to a company and they had not updated parts of their system that was out in their warehouse for almost 10 years. The guy said, well, nothing's broken, nothing's happening. We've got it running. We're not touching it. We're like, you do realize the next time that system goes down, all the patches are going to update on that Windows server box. Then you're going to be hosed. And lo and behold, we got a call about 4.5, 5 months later. They unfortunately were part of the fires in California.
Oh, okay.
And systems went down, powers went down, and literally they were contacting us. Should we unplug it? Should we let it in? Should we do this? I'm like, please tell me you've got a backup in the Iron Mountain or something that we can start working with you on immediately. And there was so many technical little pieces. Now, all of those pieces, because they didn't do any of those hot packs and those updates, half of those were security vulnerabilities that Microsoft had found that had patched. So literally right there, all those security vulnerabilities, that means ports are wide open and it's horrible. And that's a massive piece right there. That's a massive piece of the puzzle right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been great. So kind of one more question. I think we might have addressed it, but I bet you're loaded with so many. You can probably pull another one out of your gun here.
I'm loaded for bear. Let's go.
So, for those leaders of organizations that aren't yet using AI beyond what most people are already using it for, which is asking it a question or two, is there any key principle or key approach maybe that you haven't shared yet? You've shared a ton, but is there any one additional one that you might think would apply right now to help improve their businesses?
Yes, there is. And I made reference to it about the four use cases.
Yeah.
Go out there, and no matter what size of an organization you are, we all have to do sales and marketing. Go start using a tool. Find one that you want to use from a sales and marketing perspective. Talk to your salespeople, talk to your marketing people. If you got business developers, talk to them. Before you buy anything, talk to them. Say, okay, what do we want to do in order to be able to bring in more leads? We want to market to folks. We want them to see who we are for what we are. What are the tools that we want to do? Heck, a simple Canva invitation, or some of the tools wrapped around those landing pages, being able to make sure that your data is out there. Unbounce, which is a landing page company. Simple tools that you can use to start showcasing who you are as an organization and get your name more prevalent. Because unfortunately, most of the time, people are just doing email marketing and e-blasts, and they're using MailChimp, and that's great. But a lot of times those emails fall on deaf ears and eyes.
Right.
Most of the people are out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, in corporate things. Find some tools that you can get a very clean, easy sales, marketing, and BDR win, and see how that works for your company. And those are very inexpensive tools from the general public, and they'll help you, and you'll be able to see some success on that.
And when you mention the word tool, is it specifically an AI tool?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Canva's an AI tool.
Okay.
You got these AI solutions that are out there, that like Unbounce is an AI tool. Gamma is an AI-based tool where they create presentations. Heck, if you wanted to put a song together for your company, Sono will do an AI-based song for you, and you can use that as part of your marketing. It's fun little pieces of the puzzle. Zeely does marketing. There's so many little tools you can use, combine them.
And do you need your own black box to do that, or are those just public domain type?
Publicly domain-based systems, and that's why I made reference to them. Instead of having to go through an exercise of cleaning your data, getting it all put into your own private black box, use a readily available open source sales and marketing based things like the Zeelys and the Gammas and hubs and stuff. Use those to start to put together a little sales and marketing and promotion pieces for your organization, and leverage some of that with that team and see how they're playing with it, how they're understanding it, what they're getting out of it. And as you're going and seeing the success over there, start to decide how you want to do that internally only for your HR finance or your developers or other parts of your organization. And then that success over here will get to everybody else in the company. And that's when you start to see the success and the smiles. And did you see what sales and marketing did? They just increased by 16% last month. They sent out this and they were doing this. Then all of a sudden there was a 26% increase. Guys, if we can do that, think of what we can do with our data and with our customer support teams, and how we could bring down costs, but bring up the quality, and we don't have to hire any more people. And but it's going to manage with the warehouse management team and the finance team. It all leads, smiles lead to more smiles in companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm noticing, many tools today are adding AI to it. Like, I use a task management tool, and it's like, if you want me to word your task a little bit better, press this button, or if you want me to suggest subtasks, press this button. So it's just getting more and more, I guess, intricate. All our smartphones probably are going to, have more and more, AI built into it. Yep,
This has got Apple Intelligence already built into it. I've got Google Grok on here. I've got ChatGPT. I've got about a half dozen different AI-based tools already just on this device alone. And you know what? I like pushing those buttons. If it's something I don't like, I just say no thanks.
Exactly.
But I'm one human being, and that's bringing the knowledge of millions of human beings, and I don't need to worry about the data or the security side of it. I wanted to see if it can make me a better human being and a better CEO and founder as well.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's going to be, I think we probably overloaded our listeners, and I think they're probably going to be extremely excited to, pick up a book or two of yours. So again, we'll go ahead and post those as part of the podcast.
Awesome.
But Chris, this has been great, super eye-opening for me with the black box, your own AI offerings, and saying internal instead of only going external. So thank you very much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you, Scott. I hope everybody gets a little bit of knowledge from this.
And that's a wrap, not just on today's conversation with Christopher Carter, but on this season of One Step Beyond Cyber. Huge thanks to Chris and all our incredible guests who've shared their insights with us all year long. Most of all, thank you for listening, learning, and being part of our community. We'll be back with a new season, a new voice, and even bigger conversations on how to protect and grow your business. So until then, stay safe, stay secure, and be curious. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.